Hello, YouTube. This is Total War Master here. Thanks for stopping by. Today I'm bringing you guys a Napoleon Total War online battle, and I'm going to be commanding the famous French, wow, the Great English Empire, alongside my ally, who I kind of just met, who is commanding the Spanish. Proteus Valerius, I think that's his name. Sorry, man, if you're watching it. Sorry if I screwed up your name. Along with our two, oh my gosh, our two enemies here. We have, shoot, what the heck is his name? Alpetine or something, commanding Prussia. And we have, Hadja, commanding Portugal. So let's go ahead and go over the armory comps. I'm bringing 2 units of these Lightfoot units, 2 units of the rifles, 6 units of the foot units. I'm also bringing some foot guards, the very famous Black Watch Regiment, General Staff, and 1 Horse Guard Regiment and some Life Guard regiments. My allies bringing in some of these famous Walloon Guards who are just standing outside this quarter or house unit. I guess they're waiting for their general to give them a famous speech that he will never give. So, he's also bringing some. I'm not even going to try. I'm just gonna. That's him now. Let's go ahead and real quick. Yeah, you know what? Why? Yeah, go ahead. Oops. Go ahead. Okay. So, when these names pop up, I'm just going to have my cursor scroll over it because you guys can read those. I'm not going to embarrass myself by destroying the names. So, he's bringing in 4 of these Hussarese units or whatever. He's also bringing a historical figure, Francisco Castellanos, I don't know how to pronounce it. He's also bringing 4 of the Fusilier units, those guys. I think 4 units of the light infantry, and that's about it. So we have Portugal bringing 2 units of these cazadores, where we have about 6 units of infantry. We also have a famous general here today as well. We have Luis Durango Barreto. I don't even know. He's also bringing in some 4 units of these Portuguese cavalry. Of course, you always got to have Portuguese cavalry while you're commanding Portugal. And on to Prussia. He's bringing in some, let's see, 6 units of the Musketeers, 3 units of Prussian Fusiliers, some militia Landwehr units. He's also bringing some Dragoons, Foot Guards, Musketeers. And these guys, I don't believe I have ever fought these guys before. The 1st East Prussian Grenadier Battalion. So, they're playing a nice tune. As well as a General Staff unit. So I'm going to go ahead and fast forward it, because this does become a battle of wits for the person who attacks first. So, let's go ahead and, again guys, I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about my schedule. You guys are probably wondering why I haven't been uploading videos on Thursday or Friday. That's because those days I'm going to try and make my off days. So basically Saturday through Wednesday I'll be posting videos. But sometimes on Saturdays and Sundays I won't post videos because I might be doing something, or you know, I just won't have time to get to it. But if I do, or if I just slack off on it on Saturday and Sunday, I'll go ahead and take one of my off days on Thursday or Friday, and I'll upload a video then, just to make up for that lost video on Saturday or Sunday. So same goes for any time in the week, Monday through Wednesday, so that'll be good. So let's keep fast forwarding. Like I said, this does become a battle of wits here. Oh, one thing I did want to do though was I wanted to bring up my elite infantry right along here. I put them along here to start firing on this infantry here as best as they can. That way I can have a good head start on them. We can just pick them off from there. This is taking longer than I expected, actually. I might need to edit it out, so... Okay, so there we go. So we have my ally cutting the cake on this. Right along here, my ally was trying to put these horse units inside the tree line here, but he didn't realize that Prussia already had units in there, so he had to retreat them back. He had to take it back as quick as possible, so he didn't lose his cab. So along here we have the light infantry causing these Silesian Schützen to fall back. And then they go ahead and start firing on the Fusilier regiment. So we have his other light infantry unit shooting right at the, what are these, militia and Fusiliers. Let's go ahead and watch this a little bit. You guys gonna like fire anytime? Or not. Whatever floats your boat. So where we have my ally adjusting his men to get better kills on the Silesian Schützen and the Fusiliers. I think these guys are gonna finally start shooting at the Fusiliers. I take it back, they fire at the militia. Poor militia. So we have the Prussian Fusiliers firing on his light infantry as well, and he had to just pull them back because of the outnumbering men that were demolishing the light infantry here. But that doesn't deter his light infantry. Wait a minute. Let me see something real quick. 82, 35, 35, and wow. They killed a lot of these Silesian Schützen. 35 out of 60 men left. That's pretty bad. But they're still killing them anyway. So along here we have Portugal also making the first move here. Getting pretty aggressive with his skirmish units. We have him trying to take on my rifles and my light foot unit. My ally moved up his... Yeah, those guys. And to assist me. I don't say that like it's a bad thing. I say that because I can't pronounce the name, so... So here I set my little plan in motion. I moved up my elite men. I moved them along here. So my rifles just decimating the Portuguese lines here. You're doing well, my brave comrades. You're doing very well. So here we have a charge from my ally. I kind of wish he hit the militia unit instead of kept on going for the Fusilier unit, but I mean, hey, whatever works, works. So here we have Portugal's other Cazador unit pulling in. Instead of just watching my foot units die from the backfire that was coming, I just decided to move them up on the hill, which actually proved to be a pretty good idea. So I could pick off these Cazador units. Just watch them. Fairly good volley. Pretty good volley. So we have Portugal taking pretty heavy losses here. I think I am too. I don't... 55-60. No? Not really. we're doing pretty well for ourselves. So here Portugal moves back his cavalry unit. I moved mine as close as I could on this hill. So back to my ally. He's getting his Fusilier units ready to take on the Musketeer units that are coming along here. On his very far right flank, not much is happening, but I think he does put those units to good use. So we have the light infantry taking heavy fire from the Fusilier regiments that are coming along here. We also have my regular foot unit taking heavy fire. So instead of taking fire from just both of these guys, I wanted to move them along this crevice here, but I saw my ally moving up his men, so I just decided, you know what, fine, I'll put him back along here. And he did end up getting pretty good kills, and so did I on the infantry, and they ended up pulling back. So yeah, Portugal still suffering from heavy losses here. So here you can see my elite units are finally getting there, making headway. So here we have pretty heavy fighting going on my allies' side as well. These Fusilier regiments are taking fire as much as they can. They're basically becoming bullet sponges at this point. But the Silesian Schützen are still holding out. 24 out of 60 are left. So along here we have his Hussary units trying to break the formation of Prussia here. Along here we have his two Walloon guards taking out the foot guard. I think those are both elite. Yeah, so we have the 1st East Prussian Grenadier Battalion as well. And they're going to charge right into them. And they also routed the Fusiliers on this side. And then we have, what are these guys? Musketeers, still in the square formation, coming bullet sponges as well. So we have my allies making a pretty smart choice. He's putting his guys into a square formation. Perfect play by my ally. They had a perfect triangle, too, of infantry to take on those forces. But what really scared me was that they weren't stopping, and they were going right for Francisco. So that kind of scared me a little bit, and then they're going to go ahead and just charge. You can only imagine what they're thinking, like, oh shit, oh shit. And then Francisco finally passed. Poor Francisco. But that doesn't deter Spain. Their armies are still marching, powering forward here. So here you can see I finally put my plan in effect. I moved up my elite infantry, which caused them to react in the most opposite way possible for me. What I wanted them to do is I wanted them to stay there and kind of divert forces along here so I could move up my skirmishers and just pick them off. But I had to work with what I got. Excuse me. I had to work with what I got. So what I did was I saw them moving up their Cazador units, and I knew that that was going to be disastrous for me and my elite men, because not only do they lack the range, they also lack the tolerance to just sit there and die like that. So I charged in my lifeguards. I wouldn't say I wasted them. I just used them as a diversion. So while that was happening, I moved up my elite units, and we charged right into the Cazadores unit. What kind of made me a little bit angry was they charged into the square formation, and I didn't order that. So that kind of made me angry. But I was able to divert them quick enough to take on the Cazadores. There you go. So we have my lifeguards bravely trying to destroy the freaking Cazador units, as well as my elite infantry trying their best to use the diversion to their advantage. So we have the Portuguese cavalry pulling back, while my lifeguards are still trying to take on the Cazadors. Portugal moved back their guys, and I cannot believe, I'm kind of astounded at how well these guys lasted. I mean, holy crap. They gained 2 experience points in a matter of like 5 minutes. And that really made me proud. And you know what? And they fought to the heroic end. And they provided much valuable time to get my guys in there. So I charged them to try and get into their Cazador units, but they all ended up dying. So my brave my lifeguard units, they finally kicked it. But they did provide valuable time for my guys. You can see my Black Watch destroying the rest of the Cazador's units. And I got my wish. They finally routed on me. Or they finally routed on them, so. So here, what I really wanted to do was I saw another lifeguard unit move in, and I wanted him I wanted him really badly to like take a position here, so I could move my light units up and try to take him on, but that wasn't happening, and I didn't have the patience to just wait for him to do that, because not only were they destroying my elite infantry here, they were also gaining a little bit more backup than I wanted them to get. So I decided to put my light foot and my rifles with the rest of my army here. And they're going to go ahead and get off a good volley before they get charged right in by the Portuguese cavalry. And I thought that I put these foot units on square formation, but apparently I didn't, so they did end up getting pretty good point-blank shots, though. Yeah, there they go. So I have my foot guard, my elite units holding steady, waiting for orders here. Let's check up on my ally. My ally making headway. He broke pretty much half of Prussia's battle force that was along here. So that was pretty good. That only left this much Prussian men here. So yeah, Portugal fighting to the bitter end here. They're doing pretty well. They're getting a lot of casualties on me with my poor foot units trying to hold the line as much as they can here. So my ally sees this and he moves up his I moved up my rifles from this side to try and, you know, take care of him. But I realized that he was moving up these guys up. So I had him just go ahead and fire on the infantry. And then they finally routed my foot unit that was here. And then I noticed that, you know what, I might as well just let them deal with it and fire on the Portuguese cav that's here. just make the best out of it as I can. So we have Spain making a massive cav charge here. And I didn't want him to take this ground here. I didn't want it to do that because that would have been catastrophic for my army here. So what I did was I charged in my foot unit here into their infantry. Or at least I think I did, unless I went crazy. Yeah, there you go. I was about to say, I was like, at least I think I did. So we charged them right into their infantry with my allies' cav supporting me. Again, I didn't see his cav moving up, and that's going to prove pretty bad for me. But we did rout the infantry here that was trying to take my flank. We still have I think I still had one skirmisher unit left. I had 2 skirmish units left, so I had to use them pretty sparingly. So here I set up my guys accordingly so I can try and get some more kills on them. So over here on my ally side, we have Prussia with hidden units still in the trees. I take back what I said. He kind of destroyed most of what was there. I take it back. I didn't see what was hidden in the trees. But he is actually outflanking him a little bit. He has Fusilier units here, as well as his famous Walloon guards fighting him back. The first East Prussian battalion are trying their hardest to hold too. And we have some dragoons going wrong here. He's going to have him charge right into the Fusiliers. But he was able to get him into a square formation. Square formation. I like when they like buck him off and they're not ready for it and they just fall off the horse. So we have his guerrilla unit retreating. The Fusiliers are pulling back a little bit. They charged into his Walloon guards, but they got him into a square formation. I think they ran out of ammo. No, he wasn't. Shut up. I think his Walloon guards kind of ran out of ammo, so he had no choice but to charge him in. A brave charge against the foot guards of Prussia. Yeah, there you go. Getting some good kills, Spain. So along here, I just pulled back all my guys because I didn't see the massive cav charge that Portugal was doing. Very bad trick they did. So to halt the advance here, I just charged in my Black Watch as best as I could. I needed to cover the retreat of my rifle and foot unit here so I could get them back to the house. So I just charged in my elite units so they could try and, you know, halt the advance.
Our men are running, sir.
I finally routed my foot guards here. I still had my cav, my horse guard units still there. So I charged them into this infantry regiment. And then he put them into a square formation, which caused me to lose 3 of my troops. So I retreated back as quick as I could back over there. And then we have my foot guards taking fire from Portugal's Cazador and infantry regiments. Now I say I charged in my elite units to cover the advance, or cover the retreat, but I take it back. I guess I didn't.
Our men are running, sir.
So here we have the Cazador units. I think they're going to break from the... yeah, there you go. They broke, leaving the infantry regiment to deal with my foot. So here I moved up my light foot with my last foot regiment, basically my last healthy foot regiment, in there to try and support them. So here we have Portugal doing pretty well here against my allies and my horse guard troops here. But he realized what was happening, so he was decided to just pull them back and have them fire on the hill here. So here you can see that I pulled my troops back into the house here, and that was actually pretty essential to the game here. I kind of expected them to rout by the time they entered into the house, but they didn't. You can see they were so close to routing, but that charge gave them a little bit of a boost. So you can see now it's a battle of the house here. And we did end up actually routing 2 of these guys, I think. So long here on my allies' side, fighting kind of stopped a little bit, came to a standstill. I think it was because everybody was watching me and Portugal battle it out in the house here. By the way, you can see Portugal trying their hardest to try and take back this land here. I did see their Cazador units moving up to outflank us, so I pulled back my foot units here. And I didn't see their infantry regiment get into the house there.
This building has fallen to the enemy.
So as you can see, I moved in my general. I wanted to try and take out his general, Luis, I don't know how to say it. And we ended up coming close, but I pulled him back because I didn't want to get too far from my regiments that were holding here. I wanted to try and give them as much inspiration as I could, but I ended up losing the fight for the house. But we did kind of hold out pretty quickly. We did kind of hold out fairly well. So here you can see we did rout a few of their infantry regiments. We have 4 infantry regiments going against 1 foot unit. That's pretty good. So here I decided to divert my forces, my infantry that were firing on the Cazadors here, just to have them go ahead and try and take this house back from the infantry. And it did work. We ended up killing their entire regiment. And then we finally routed the last of Portugal's men that were along this flank here, except for those guys. But I quickly demolished them. So you can see my general staff here charging right into Luis, I don't know how to say it. So we charged right into Luis. I'm just going to say it's Luis. They finally took the house there, but my general gallantly fought off Luis, and I think we ended up killing him. Yeah, we did. And that caused Portugal to lose their general, which caused Portugal's army to basically kind of lose hope. So here they were shooting at my cav, and I was like, no, come on, general, you got to get out of there quickly. And so my ally moved in some Fusiliers to take back the house here, just so we can try and kill off Portugal, the last of Portugal. So here, basically, half of my allies' army, I think, used up all their ammo. I think it was just basically hand-to-hand combat at this point. While Prussia still had the advantage of having ammo. So I pulled back my general as quick as I could, and he didn't rout. So that was actually pretty good. I'm glad he didn't rout. So let's see here. I think it does kind of come to a standstill a little bit. I took out my guys out of the house here. Prussia moved up their musketeer regiments here. I think they were determined to take this hill. But we had my ally setting up position up here on this hill, and I think he was determined to hold it too. So we have my allies' fusiliers here. We kind of like rested up a little bit before we decided to engage in combat again. But me, I was just like, you know what? I'm not even gonna wait. I don't even want to let you guys win. I want this too badly. So I moved up my light foot unit to fire on the musketeers. And I couldn't make them run because they were exhausted, and I knew that if they took one volley from those musketeers, they probably would have routed. So here it was a little bit too late for me to fire on the musketeers here. So what I did was I rerouted my men onto the hill here to try and help out my ally. So here you can see him get off a good volley right onto those freaking musketeers. They're gonna have a gallant charge here. I charged into my horse guards. He got into a square formation before I could really stop it, and I think that would end up in the destruction of my cav, but it did provide my allies' men enough time to try and take care of the first unit that charged at him. Because I think that had they both charged in, they probably would have lost it. And not only that, Prussia had to deal with my foot regiment that was coming up here. So along here we have my ally taking care of the house here. They finally took care of all of them that was there, so that was actually pretty good. So basically all Portugal's army was destroyed except for the Cazador unit that was left. So I tried to put my foot units into a square formation as quick as possible, but it didn't really work out. And I think they ended up routing my unit, but my ally was able to pick up the pieces here. There we go. It's so hard to tell the difference between Spain and Prussia. Well, actually, no, I take it back. They're wearing the brown pants. So they finally broke my... Great Britain doesn't have a lot of morale when it comes to hand-to-hand. They like it a lot more far away. So... And neither does Spain. Spain doesn't do too well when it's hand-to-hand, but I was actually kind of surprised that they did so well. So Prussia, we still have his forces committed to taking this hill. I had my forces committed to defending the hill. Or supporting my ally in defending the hill anyway. So I moved up my light foot. What? That moment when you can't hear anything because there's so... I'm not even going to read it. I'm focusing on this. This is probably one of the greatest battles I've ever fought in this game. So as you can see, we have my light foot regiment shooting down the Fusiliers before they could even get to the hill here. So we have my allies' light infantry regiment. I think they lost their ammo. So they charged right into the Fusiliers and the Landwehr regiment. We also have the last of Francisco. Excuse me, the last of Francisco's horse cav regiment moving in. And the Cav actually did pretty well. They held that line. And so they got a hand-to-hand going on between the militia. Pretty good fight the militia gave. Pretty good fight. So we have the light infantry doing the best they can. My allies' Fusilier regiment still holding the hill against all odds. Prussia's Fusiliers are going in one by one. They're getting destroyed one by one, not only from my light foot, but from the Fusiliers that were here. So we have my ally losing the rest of his troops here. He's trying to march back as much of the troops that he had from the house battle as quick as possible. So here we have Prussia charging in their musketeers. I was able to get off a good volley before they could do any real damage to Spain. He also has his Fusiliers getting in there too. And my footmen going in there as well. Look at that. And they had nowhere to go either. They were like, well, I guess I'll run this way. Well, you know what? Yeah, I'm just going to run that way. They were going to retreat back that way, but they had nowhere to go. They were basically getting slaughtered on all sides except for this side, so. So that was one more unit that Prussia lost. So here it was kind of a battle for the hill here. We decided to defend the hill as best as we could, mainly because we didn't have the troop numbers to take him on head on. So he decided to defend the hill because he had most of the units, and I decided to go ahead and flank around as best as I could. Let's go ahead and fast forward it because it does take a little bit of time to get them over there. You can see my light foot are still exhausted, so I couldn't really run them over there. And it kind of made me a little bit anxious because I didn't know if we would have enough time to, you know, support my ally. So here, you guys remember, I always hate the terrain in this game. Look at that. They fired all of their rounds into the ground here, which was awesome on our part. And to give them an extra little morale boost, I moved up my general here because I knew that that was going to happen. So I have my brave Lightfoot that are exhausted and tired moving up as well. And I got so angry that my Lightfoot had ran out of ammo. Once I got him right where I wanted him, the game decided to just say, nope, you have no more ammo, go ahead and just charge right in. You'll be good. I got really angry at that. And not only that, it took precious time away from my ally, so he just decided to charge right into the musketeers. All of his units are pretty tired. So that's where it says all my units use the ammunition. It was so angry. It was very frustrating. So I just had to pull up my pants and, you know, I just had to charge right in. I knew I had to help my ally as best as I could. So we have this Fusilier unit holding. We have all of my allies' Fusiliers holding as much as they could. This Fusilier unit finally broke. They're getting off one more volley, and then we have Prussia sitting in their general. I charged in my light foot and my foot into their Cazador units. We did rout one of their units. I charged in my cav, or my general, right in the general staff unit. I think we did kill their general. And that was pretty key. So here we have my allies' men holding the best they can. They finally routed Prussia's guys. My general finally routed. I got scared for my my infantry because they were close to breaking and shattering, but the Cazadors were too. We also have this Prussian foot guards unit holding as best as they could. And we have the general staff unit. So me, my foot unit, and my skirmish units finally fought them off. Up here, my ally destroyed the last foot guard regiment Prussia had, and he charged in his general. And then with the help of the Fusiliers that were here, we killed them off.
We have killed their general.
And then their general finally died. Leading to Prussia's armies basically being destroyed. So, very, very good game to my opponents. Hey, look at that, I was right. Haja, who was in control of Prussia, and Apetim, who was in command of, Haja, who was in command of Portugal, and Appleteam, who was in command of Prussia. You guys were both very good players. Very good game to my new friend, Proteus Valerius. Remember, guys, he has the YouTube channel. I'm going to go ahead and put a link to his channel in the description below. Go ahead and give him some love. So anyway, this is Total War Master 223 Total War Master signing off. And one more thing, this has to be one of the most closest battles I've ever played in my time of playing Napoleon. So anyway, guys, this is Total War Master. I hope you guys enjoyed it as well. So this is Total War Master signing off.